Okay, let's see if this shit's gonna work. Jesus, I don't usually do streams in fucking middle of the night, but yeah. Hold on, is there a way to mute this fucking bullshit? Oh, fuck. Nope. Uh, fuck. Damn. Stream this weekend and I already don't know what to say. Fun. Yeah, welcome to a live stream that I don't normally do at night, but I did it so I don't get fucking interrupted by people barging in my room in the middle, like in the middle of the day. So, yeah, that's why I'm doing something at night. I don't know. I'm just gonna figure out what I do to do as I go. Fuck it. First things first, I planned on doing is fucking what's it called, DJ Hero, but I can't be screwed too. You know what? I'm gonna just pop on trains and show off some stuff that I made recently. Because I got nothing better to do. And again, that's why I'm live, isn't it? Well, I should also say welcome to the stream. This is nighttime here, someone who doesn't normally actually live stream anymore because I can't be because A, StreamYard is basically gone to crap because you can't basically do anything without paying for a subscription. And B, because I can't be bothered to set up OBS and just stream through OBS. So yeah, we're so for once I actually bothered to set up a live stream through StreamYard, and here we are. Recently, I've made some whistles and stuff on Train Z, as well as a couple diesel reskins because I've started to figure those out. I swear I'm reskinning American diesels is like the biggest pain in the ass. Like, so yeah, besides it can be fucked. I see that some of my friends are in a call on another server, but genuinely I couldn't be I don't know why I couldn't I really don't feel like joining a VC at the moment. Which is ironic because I'm like doing a live stream, which is basically a publicly broadcasted VC, but hey, that's how it goes. You know what else how it goes is Train Z deciding to be a cunt weed. Yeah, fucking Trains 2022. You gotta love it. They claim it's the best game, and yet it's somehow so poorly optimized. You have to task into it just like once or twice just to get it to function. Here's the thing too is I would open Steam, but I just paused a game download because I was downloading BeamNG Drive, which yeah, that's gonna be something I might screw around with because I have a couple friends who have it. And for people who actually want to hear, Chaotic Idiots might be coming back, especially since yeah, I re-downloaded Helldivers today, so if I can get a recording session together, I could probably record playing Helldivers with a couple people. Again, I'm trying to rush onto Train Z here, but it's deciding that it's gonna be oh so difficult tonight. I swear to God, if it like, I really don't want to get onto fucking pedo blocks. I'm gonna try fucking okay. Train's content manager's working. There we go. It took you fucking 50 different tries, but I got Train Z up and running. Hold on, let me just uh image share screen audio. So share tab audio. I got some sharing system audio. Or no, I'm not. Oh, let me fix that. Ah, damn it. Okay, stop screen. And then once again, share. There we go. let me just load up the Sweet Carolina route. I always love that route. You can't. It takes a while. It takes a bit to load, but you can't go wrong with the Sweet Carolina route. It always looks good. Jesus. So yeah, I should explain this. I guess while we're here waiting for this to load, if it's wondered, I do not have any plans to go try to see UP 4014 on its run because A, I don't give a shit about the locomotive, and B, because if I wanted to see a UP steamer, I'm gonna get murdered for this. But between the two of them, I'd rather see 844 because I actually have an interest in northerns and mountain types and those wheel arrangements. I don't have a major interest in the big boys and some articulated. So no offense between the two of them. The only thing that's interesting about 4014 is that it's big. That's it. That's its only alluring thing. 844, however, is not only pretty decent looking, like northern. It's also the only northern in America that has not been retired. And I say only northern because there's varying locomotives in the world that can say they haven't been retired. Hell, there's an Austrian like narrow gauge engine that's been in service for all of its life and it still hasn't been retired. No, you know what? I'll even pull it up. Like I called it to one of my friends once, the true living legend. Let's see, living legend, living legend. Here it is. The Graz Austria, but in Graz, Austria, built like it is like GKB like number 671. And I know I'm gonna get, and I know where that, I know someone's gonna reference the meme. Oh, hold on, the route's loaded in. I'm trying to, there we go. Okay, so, I guess pulling up some stuff here, just let me go to the rail yard on this route. That's the wrong side of the route. Sorry about that. The route has to load in. It's gonna not help the process of that by deleting missing assets real quick. There we go. So those are the C3H's. Hold on. Here we go. First things first is I recently went and did a revamp. If will you load you? And his name was John Cena. Man, if only I had the. If only I had the meme. Uh, yeah. Here we go. Trains 2019 lighting you. Those so many bad words I could say. Hold on. There we go. This is one of the things I've made as of recent since my last live stream. I've made a C&O Greenbrier revamp, which actually will soon include tow global like what's it called, class lights, which I'm still working on that. It has an emissive headlight and my own custom whistle sound. And speaking of whistles, I have actually been working on some whistles, a couple of which have audio that one of my friends, like audio that my friends recorded, which like I'm really proud of how they turned out. Let me just grab the engine models. There we go. Texas State 30, the TSF3 chime, and the GN5 chime. Drive session. Let you guys listen to the whistles. Will you? Can you like? Train Z, don't do this again. Dang, it is choosing to be laggy tonight. right here you got the GN5 chime, which was recorded this year actually. It was recorded this year on on Texas State 30. Second, you got another recent whistle that was recorded on it. It's the ATSF3 chime. Still same bell because from Texas State 30. So, well, actually, the whistle isn't from Texas State 30. It's from Southern Is it Southern Pine South Pine Lumber Company? I think South Pine Lumber Company. I think. Yeah, Southern Pine Lumber Company, number 20. So I had to Google that real quick. Finally, with the Greenbrier here, you got a C&06 chime, which I think was recorded at Cass. And also, a missive headlight. This was a pain to get made, but hey, I did it. Let me just pull this engine forward slightly. So, a little clarification here. This specific model is meant to represent not C&O614, but the actual NNW611. To see the J3A Greenbriers, they went from 610 to 611. No, not 611. 610 to 614. 611 itself was withdrawn, from what I could find, was withdrawn and scrapped sometime in the early 50s. Again, I could be entirely wrong, but yeah, it was scrapped sometime in the early 50s. Fictional wise, my railroad, the good old South Lake Railroad Company, but this is a kind of more interesting story I came up with for the engine. The South Lake Railroad Company was withdrawing their their heavy hammering stuttering, just fuck, their heavy hammering articulated. I can't find the wording. Yeah, their heavy hammering articulateds, aka their B7G2 882s. So, because of that, the C3Hs were finding themselves on more freight assignments, meaning that there was less power being provided to the Southern Jubilee Express passenger train, which is mostly pulled by C3Hs. So, because of that, older locomotives had to double or even triple headless service because it's a long and heavy passenger service, being the top link express service in the steam era of the South Lake Railroad. So, the South Lake Railroad management went looking through scrapyards, knowing that they could jolly well find a steam engine there because they didn't we didn't because the SLRR didn't dieselize until the early to mid 1960s, kind of like BR. So they found 611 sitting in a the actual 611, mind you, sitting in a scrapyard and decided, you know what? We'll take the Greenbrier. There were multiple engines, C and O engines, but they chose the Northern here, the Greenbrier. As such, when they brought it back into service on the Texas and South Lake Central, as per tradition, it was painted as a Texas and South Lake Central engine, including getting the cab font, including getting the South Lake Railroad, like the South Lake Railroad fonting on the cab and tender. However, they left the fonting alone on the number plate, considering, according to real life photos of 614, the number plates had actually the numbers were built onto the plates. So they simply repainted the cab number to actually be in the South Lake Railroad font, and of course the Texas and South Lake Central lettering on the side of the tender. The 611 would remain in regular steam traffic until 1963, when it was withdrawn from service alongside quite a majority of the SLRR steam locomotives in favor of dieselization. which, mind you, being like early to mid 1960s, that means these things weren't displaced by like GP9, like the F series or the GP7s or GP9s. That means they were directly displaced by SD40-2s, SD like GP30s and the like. 1960s diesel locomotives. And yes, that would have included Baldwins, Fairbanks, Morses, things like that. The 611 was one of three engines brought immediately into brought into service with the South Lake Heritage Program, which began right after steam ended, thanks to the excursion hauled by 100. However, 611 itself was found to be in not the best mechanical condition, so it was sent to the South Lake Railroad Museum outside of Duluth, Georgia, where it was mounted on static display. That was until the 1990s. In the 1990s, a plan was devised to give 100 a break, and as such, the engine is started in operational restoration, which as of today is still ongoing. The plan calls that once 611 is done, which I will spoil canonically, it's going to be done soon, the engine will replace 100 in excursion service for the time being until at the very earliest, mid 2027. For 100 canonically is supposed to go down for its 1472 by the end of this year, actually. So, well, perfect timing if they can get this thing back up and running by the end. I say that knowing full well the SLR Co steam crews are really well experienced in their craft. Also, I should mention that because someone might ask. The railroad started out as the Texas and East Florida Railroad. Then by the time they finished off their first bit of track, changed their name to the Texas and South Lake Central Railroad. The railroad remained in this name until the 1980s when they simplified their name to just the South Lake Railroad Company, or SLR Co. And that's their name that they have today. So because of that, a lot of steam engines from that are preserved in the front, like South Lake Preserve steam engines, likewise will be seen carrying the Texas and South Lake Central lettering as opposed to the South Lake Railroad Company lettering. However, I depending on what era I'm talking about with the railroad, that's how you'll know is pre 1980s or 1980s onward, because I'll call it SLR Co. or Texas and South Lake Central. Also, as a quick little note here, the C3H has received a slight update because they were kind of out of date because they still had the old Ocean Belt lettering, which is no longer canon. Because the Ocean Belt nickname came from the too long of a name. I figured that Texas and South Lake Central isn't too long of a name anymore, so well, its name has officially been placed on the tender, and also the extra Ocean Belt lettering bit on the cab was replaced with just the classification of the locomotive, Class C3H. Other than that, the engine, in terms of sounds, pretty much remains the same. It's still got the same meshes, still got the same, well, it sounds, though I will be making an emissive for this soon. It's I still find it funny how mixing and screwing with the pitches of a Lunkenheimer 3 and an Alco 3 gave me this freaking aggressive sounding whistle. Because there's a fun fact for you. The South Lake Railroad standard 6 chime was actually, in terms of audio, is just a Alco 3 and a Lunkenheimer 3, like, not pitched around and, well, combined into a single whistle. Canonically, the reason the whistles sound like this is because they're boiler tube 6 chimes. Specifically, they were all manufactured to a universal standard to sound the same. I'm not gonna I I'm gonna be honest, I haven't actually said if any engine's been refitted. I might actually say that when it goes on display, I might say that they'll take off the Whistle 100's South Lake 6 chime and put it on C&O 611, but probably not. I'll probably just have them keep the C&O 6 on it, or I might have them fit it within C&O Hooter. Either that or a Rock Island 5, because I'm addicted to Rock Island 5 chimes. Oh yeah, this thing's this thing. So I made a joke reskin also a while ago just to really piss off people. It's it's a UPFEF3 painted in the daylight scheme. What makes it better, I actually matched up the lining to the coaches. So if I go and grabbed the daylight train coaches, it actually the lining can you load in please, thank you. The lining actually lines up. Oh yeah, also I made like another bit of content I made is a revamp. Well, I'll place this thing down too, but I made a revamp of the Western Pacific, like the Western Pacific GS64, which includes a more accurate and sized tender for the most part. So yeah, that's a fun thing. What the? Oh yeah, because I deleted those old assets. I forgot that was part of that revamp. Whoops. Anyway, this is the actual GS64 revamp here. Well, all I really did is I gave it K and L texturing. I gave it more accurate fonting here and there. I gave it lib scripting, and I actually added a 3D like Western Pacific thing here, like it would have been on the real engines. Still working on the CNC engine there, so I'm just gonna delete that. But yeah, the also it's got an emissive. Made an emissive for it. Also, because it has lib scripting, it's got a horn. Oh, and it's got working marker lights. Thanks to a friend of mine, I also found out that the Western Pacific GS64s as built were fitted with Hancock long bell 3 chimes. So I made a whistle to try and match it. Like I should also mention, the bell audio is actual 4460 bell audio. Not from in service, but someone got to ring it at the Museum of Transportation, so I took the opportunity to, have some bell audio for 4460. I'll have to do a bit of updating here and there for the what's it called? The emissive. I gotta edit that slightly. Other than that, this engine's basically complete, other than giving it a white wall version. Does that mean I'll make a GS6 revamp? I wouldn't say it's impossible. I might do a GS6, but I don't know. In terms of revamp stuff, the next thing I plan to do is I don't know actually. I did a GS64 purely just for a friend of mine, but I don't actually know what I want to do for a revamp next. Yeah. Just looking through some stuff here. I just remembered I have to make the whistle for this thing, but someone had like a fictional engine, I think it was like a solid fictional engine on DeviantArt. I liked it. It was like ATSF inspired. It was like I used 290 at the time, but now that we have a proper like USRA Light Pacific type locomotive in the form of the B&O P5, I might actually go in and redo this like completely, basically from the ground up. They to see how, because I wonder what that guy would say about that. Like basically redo this from the ground up, give it like strip it to the boiler and basically build it from the ground up, like in more of a ATSF style, because that's what he based it off of. He did a freelance USRA based Light Pacific, but said it was ATSF inspired. So I might take some inspiration, see what the ATSF locomotives look like, and really make it look more like an ATSF engine. So yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, here, as you can see, we now have a proper AC. You know what? If this is accurate enough, what I might also do is I've been thinking about this for a while. I've been planning on making both an L and N Pacific based off the USRA light ones, but I also plan on doing a ACL P5. An ACL P5 is one of these. Like, hold on, let me grab an ACL P5 as an example. An ACL P5 would be like 1504 here. Only problem is finding authentic audio. I mean, not directly off the engine, but authentic audio of the whistle it might have wore. Because if I remember getting told right, the ACL Pacifics wore ACL 3 chimes. Actually, I shouldn't have a war issue finding that. Mostly I'll have to focus on actually kit bashing the engine. Hmm, this might be difficult. Oh well, I'm up for a challenge. Can you? Nope, nope, stop. Oh yeah, also I forgot this is a fun thing. So the SLR Co. Got like excursion contest thing got a rewrite where instead of a standardized fleet of engine of coaching stock in a consistent livery, most of the coaches are painted in their own custom liveries. I still gotta change the lettering on that to say Texas and South Lake Central. So far, I've made some coaches based off of real life coaches like an ATSF right here, an ATSF 2800 like chair car converted to a lounge, a like a cafe. I think this was an Amtrak Le Pub Cafe Lounge. You got got right here the the standard like combine, which canonically this combine was converted to where the baggage compartment also actually acts more as like a concession area where you can buy like merchandise from railroad theme, like the railroad merchandise. An XAT, like an X 20th Century Limited car painted in a daylight scheme. An actual XACL Pullman, which by the way, it took me several hours to get this scheme right. But yeah, the tool car and the baggage generator, which are gonna remain in actual South Lake coloring, and the XUP coach, which I actually gave it the name the City of Columbus. So far, these are the only coaches that are done. I plan to do let's see. I'm thinking about some more coaches to add. I might add a Milwaukee Road Olympian Hiawatha coach, which case I could just reskin one of the chair 261 chair cars to have a different name. I definitely plan on doing a Louisville and Nashville coach, a Clinchfield coach, because I do actually like the Clinchfield for their unique locomotives. Maybe a Delaware and Hudson coach. That one is up for debate. Let's see. The like most of the time in screenshots, I have these main cars and then I just add some random cars that I've made before behind it. Like I have these random excursion coaches I just painted up based on liveries I found on like random ass coaches. Like I based this one I based off the Texas Eagle. Then you got this one I based off the KC. I actually directly just and painted it after the KCS business train cars, but yeah, these were made a long time ago. These are not the best. Some of them are decent, still hold, in my opinion, still kind of hold up. It's still kind of decent enough that they hold up, but some could really just go back to the drawing board. Yeah, some of these really go back to the drawing board. It's like when I'm running these excursions, I often mix and match a lot of like, especially other coaches I've made, like right here, like what I'm doing with the NNW Pocahontas coaches that I made. Yeah, because I actually went through and tried to recreate the 759's Pocahontas. It's like Pocahontas. This what's it called? Yeah, Pocahontas contest. Thanks to a friend of mine, he actually supplied the dome cars, which really made it, which definitely made it easier to finish off making the contest. I had to watch through like multiple videos to get the contest right. The only thing I have to do for it now is just reskin. This is the closest car I could get to the OBS car they had. I'm just gonna reskin this into NNW colors, and yeah, that'll be the Pocahontas. Yeah, that'll be the like last Pocahontas contest. Of course, you got 759 here itself, which has a custom mesh for the NWJ class Hancock 3 chime, and varying custom meshes to make it accurate to the real 759. You got the High Iron Company. You like got the High Iron Company car, which took several custom meshes to get it to look right. You got the coaches, which includes the dome cars, and of course the ops car. Things like this, I think, running these types of excursions. So I really like doing this stuff, like stuff fictional wise, because I don't know. I've always been a big fan of running Steam excursions, like in Train Z. So getting I don't know why. I just really like. Fuck. I really like running excursions sometimes in Train Z, just because I don't know. I get some type of joy out of it. In general, I like running like actual like contests sometimes rather than just excursion trains. Um, you know what? We'll just get a contest together and run an excursion here. Let's see. I guess I'll use I guess I'll use our like H20, yeah, H20 Hudson. I would use the QJ, but it's a model like that. I'm not gonna, but I don't really want to use the QJ. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna use the T1. So I haven't used the T1 in a while. I know you could be saying, "Oh, well, if you're why are you restoring a Reading a C&O Greenbrier if you have a Reading T1 here?" 2129 is more often isn't used as a standby for 100. It's more used on the like in our like on our western like our some of our East Coast divisions like mostly around like on excursions that are like staged around West Virginia, Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, those sort of things. Because unlike our other engines, not only does it not have PTC yet, it is also a still a coal burner. Most of our fleet is oil, but 2129's been elected to be kept as a as a coal burner. So because of that, it's only used on the East Coast. So and sometimes these excursions go more towards the West Coast of our system. So yeah, let me just put this. As for the diesel, I'm gonna use Spirit of the People. To use our my the South Lake Railroad like 17 like USA 250 diesel here. The story behind this unit is it's meant to like Spirit of the People is meant to be more of a representation of America's citizenship for the 250th. The common as some people would call us, the common people. People work in the regular 9 to 5s, work in the regular retail jobs, the regular construction, all that. That's what this is. Spirit of the People is basically representing the people, the regular citizen, the normal civilians of the USA. Also, I forgot to mention, because this is a slightly older model, 2129. Not only do I need to get it to have its dual beam thing here. Jeez, I'm yawning a lot. I apologize. Not only do I need to give it the attachments for the dual beam, I also need to give it an emissive, because that's becoming a standard on all my engines. I'm gonna start putting emissives on them. Gotta be careful here. Careful. Careful. There. Ah, damn it. Yeah, I hate when Train Z does this. So fun fact for you guys. Train Z has this fun little issue where if you couple up all the bells ringing, sometimes it screws up the bell animation and the bell goes continuously, basically. So to fix that, I have to respawn the engine and couple it up without its tender. There we go. Or sometimes the bell can just decide not to animate it at all, but you know what? I'll take no animation over glitched animation. But I should mention real quick, yeah, 2129 is actually correctly fitted with a Reading 6 chime. Even though I know I'm gonna get told, actually in service they had Hooters. Just like with its siblings that would have pulled the Iron Horse Rambles, 2129 was refitted to have a sideways facing Reading 6 chime like its siblings would have had. Mostly because the railroad wanted to wanted to replicate the Rambles a little bit, but then decided halfway through its restoration that, hey, we want to do our own thing. Yeah, because here's the thing about this engine too. 2129 joined the railroad as a museum piece engine, and then it was decided, since 611 needed much more work than they thought. They were early 2000s. The crews were like, hey, you know what? We have this engine. We have this Reading T1. If we want another Northern on the roster, let's just fucking restore this thing. So 611 was transported, was taken, still, well, by the way, still in pieces, was taken out of the steam shops, and 2129 was evaluated and found to be in basically found to be in good enough mechanical condition that they could have just chucked a fire in it that day and just ran it if they really wanted to. So, being nearly 2000s, though, they gave it its 1472-day inspection as required, and also a slight overhaul, which was finished by 2007. And yep, the engine was put into service in 2007, and last time it went down for 1472 was actually 20. Hold on. So if I'm doing my math here, 1472-day inspection. So it would have went down around, I think, 2022 actually, meaning it would have. Usually with the railroad, the 1472s at the very most take 2 years at the very most. So that means, which, okay, hold on, I just flipping through the lore here. Yeah, 2122 was taken out for its 1472-day inspection in March of 2022, and it was finished by April of 2023. But due to the crews wanting to give 100 some good running time, and the engine didn't actually re-debut into service until like the beginning of the season in 2024. So, well, no, 2025. So the engine was only just recently re-entered into active service. I'm gonna turn down Train Z so I can actually freaking hear myself speak, because that's why I also fumble over my words sometimes, because I can't hear myself say these things, so I'm making sure, like, cognitively, I'm not fumbling over my words. I should mention too, some locomotives that are not of SLR or origin, like restored to work with the South Lake Railroad program and South Lake Heritage program, they will sometimes just simply have the word South Lake on the tender instead of Texas and South Lake Central or South Lake Railroad Company. Yeah, but also canonically, 2129 is actually meant to be the most flashy engine in terms of paint scheme, meant to be the most flashy engine on the line. Like 50 different pings in like 50 different places. But yeah, because I did the delete missing assets thing, the switches aren't really. I just not realize it's gonna be wrong routing. Hold on, I'm just gonna activate God powers real quick. Yeah, let me just activate God powers and put this engine on the right line. Let's see. Yeah, so right now, yeah, I guess just doing a running session here with 2129. South Lake Railroad Company, 2129 to be exact. Actually, I know I'm kind of switching it up here, but given the route I'm on, I have a fun idea here. We'll try and do a realistic running session, like in realistic mode, with an engine actually appropriate for where the route is based. Let me grab the southern consist here. So, for those who don't know or haven't been able to see my stuff on Discord, which is understandable, there's been a fun thing I did recently where I made a couple what if engines out of sheer boredom, out of my main the main Frisco mountain type I like to use, number 1525. It started a with a canonical Indiana Western variant, which is, good old Eric here. Canonically, when Eric was trapped outside the railroad because of mudslides trapping him outside the railroad after bad rainstorms in the late 1980s, and well, early 1980s, I should say, Eric found himself being leased to several places. And by the end of it, he was actually leased to the Southern Railroad between 1986 and 19. I think I said 1986 and 1989. he was leased to the Southern Railroad, and in that time, he was painted in Southern Freight black. Also fitted with a T like it's also fitted with a Southern Railroad TS1's like long bell 3 chime to match the Southern appearance. Uh, I'm just gonna ignore the boiler pressure high here. All right, let's do this. Gonna try to play it careful with the engine here. I'm saying that like I didn't just crack the like, well, reverser is all the way forward, but put the reverser to around 47% there. Let's see if that'll start it off. If it's wondered about 2716, by the way, 1520 Eric or 1525 worked alongside 2716 and later. Actually, wait, no, not 2716. It would have been working alongside 765. Is that by that point 20? By that, yeah, because by that point, not only did Norfolk Southern form, but by that point, 765 was working on the Southern Steam program. Well, had worked with the Southern Steam program. I'm also saying that the reason, unlike what happened with Texas and Pacific 610, Indiana Western crews were tagged along for the Southern trips, allowing for better performance. Because, fun fact, that's why if I'm at least according to what I've been told, I could very much be wrong here. That's the reason 610 didn't do so well on the Southern Railroad is because their crews were pretty inexperienced with firing oil burners. And this thing's putting off. Oh, spoiler pressure's at 208 right now, which isn't exactly good. Anyway, yeah, 1525 here can, like, 1525 canonically. Well, I call him 1525, but Indiana Western wise, Eric doesn't actually like being painted out of the Frisco scheme because anything outside of Frisco in his eyes very inauthentic. So yeah, you could imagine how much he grumbled about being painted in Southern Freight black. Though I should say he doesn't mind the whistle changes, considering in his eyes, steam locomotives aren't going to keep their original whistles forever. So yeah, like he actually liked the Southern like 3 chime, but of course when he was taken off the Southern Railroad and sent back to the Indiana Western because he was finally allowed to return, the Southern 3 chime was taken off and his usual his usual Frisco spec Hancock 3 was put back on in its place. Though Eric would regain the Southern TS-13 chime during the 2009 to 2012 running seasons due to his Frisco 3 chime his Frisco Hancock 3 actually cracking. I admit, I would run on Railworks, but genuinely, that game, but like, I'm kind of a noob, and Smokebox's engines genuinely give me an aneurysm. So, I mean, I could run British stuff, but I don't know. I'm kind of already like running this thing. Plus, as I said, I've Steam closed because if I open up Steam again, I'm gonna have to start the download again because I'm downloading BeamNG Drive because I bought that game a while ago and I finally got. So there's a little story behind that. So I did bought BeamNG Drive with the intent to download it, and then I realized Train Z is taking up a shit ton of storage on my external. So I saved up a bit of money and bought a second external specifically for Train Z. So now I'm actually going back and downloading and downloading games I was intending to download and re-downloading some games I had to uninstall because I needed the storage space. So yeah, I've got Helldivers back. I'm downloading BeamNG Drive. There's a couple other games I might re-download. I'm kinda on the fence if I want to re-download like War Thunder, but I might just screw around in War Thunder with like planes and tanks and shit. Who knows? Also, I'm not gonna say publicly what happened, but but if it's noticed that the next episode of IWS, since that topic was brought up, is taking a while, I had to recast the voice of Harrison. So I'm not gonna get into it what happened there's because there's really no point. Besides, I believe it really doesn't shouldn't be said publicly anyway. Even though I literally fucking let me rephrase that. I don't believe the details should be released because sometimes drama is best just solved like one on one. But I will say some drama went down, and because of that, I had to recast Harrison because you could like I'm pretty sure the pieces could be put together who voiced him last. So that's why the episode's kind of taking a bit longer because not only that, but also I have to get my own lines in, which I keep forgetting because multiple different things IRL's been happening. Like, my car kind of started acting up a little bit, so fun. Because yeah, that's what I get for getting a fucking luxury car because like I had a choice anyway. Yeah. Back to train stuff. I damn, I'm like all over the place. I'm all over the place. See, this is why I don't do live streams because I'm like in so my mind is in 50 million different spots at once. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Oh damn! I just looked at the comments too and saw that both Trainman3985 and Amethyst actually commented. Yeah, that's pretty peak. I I know I've not been live long, but I might actually call it because A, StreamYard is being a cunt. B, because I actually wanna install BeamNG and kinda get to know BeamNG Drive because I've been told by a friend of mine it's really fun to dick around in. So yeah, I'm gonna go and do that. Yeah, that's fair. 'Cause you mind being in 50 million different places. Like that's the best part of the streams. I I don't know. I'm gonna end here, but I might try and do something soon. Like I might try to do some more grinding on GTA or some shit. So until next time, I guess peace out. Wait, no, not leave fucking studio.